Welcome everyone to the Vested Interest channel. This is Shane, and in this video we are going to wrap up September, look at all the dividends and options we received for the months. If you can do me a big favor, hit all the buttons down below, and watch time is one of the metrics that the YouTube algorithm looks at. So if you could watch the videos to the end, that would really help. Share with anyone you think they might find value in the content as well. Let's get into it. Let's wrap up September, look at all the dividends and options we were in for the month. All right, first up, we received dividends from Pfizer, ticker PFE, $251.73 on Tuesday, the 2nd. Kroger also paid us that day, ticker KR, and Pfizer is out of the healthcare sector, and Kroger is out of the consumer staples sector. Kroger paid us $36.15. Enbridge paid us on the 3rd, Wednesday the 3rd there, ticker ENB, out of the energy sector, $142.33. Johnson & Johnson, which has really recovered lately, so has Pfizer actually. Johnson & Johnson paid us $165.22 on Tuesday, September 9th. Ticker J&J, just like Pfizer, is out of the healthcare sector. On the 11th of September, Vale, this is a mining company out of Brazil. They actually paid us a little bit more, but the dividends, once we get paid from Vale, my brokerage account takes the taxes out right away. So we actually received $300 and some change. But after taxes were taken out, $269.38 gets reinvested back into Vale. And that was, I believe, yes, the biggest payout of the month. And Vale is out of the material sector. On September 15th, which was a Monday, Google paid us $29.05. That's actually Alphabet. I know they're out of the information technology sector. I know they're out of the communication sector, but in my portfolio, I hold them in the information technology sector, right? So they paid us $29.05. Next, Air Energy, ticker NEE, is a utility company out of the utility sector. They paid us $115.41, also on the 15th. And then we jump over to Tuesday, the 23rd. United Healthcare paid us, ticker UNH, $230.81, also out of the healthcare sector. VXUS is the most recently added position. They are all of the companies outside the United States. That's what the XUS stands for, all the companies except for the United States companies. So it gives us exposure to all of the markets outside the US, which pairs well with VTI, which basically gives us exposure of everything that's out there in the stock market that you can potentially buy. That was our first payment from VXUS. They paid us $1.08. We jump over to Monday, the 29th of September, ticker SCHD. This is Schwab Strategic Dividend Growth ETF, paid us $239.61. And last, but certainly not least, this one we've been adding to recently, Union Pacific. This is a railroad out of the industrial sector, paid us $83.46. All total for the month of September, we received $1,564.23 in dividends. Now, I do have the drip set on all these positions, so all of the money that we get paid out goes right back in. For example, Pfizer, it goes right back in and buys more shares of Pfizer. Enbridge, more shares of Enbridge. Vale, more shares of Vale, and so on and so forth. But if we were to turn off the drip, we could certainly put that in our pocket, pay some bills with it. It is really becoming a nice chunk of change on a monthly, well, weekly, as you can see here, we got payments each week, and monthly basis. All right, you can see the total dividends for the year so far, $9,714.91. And you can see the breakdowns, right? January pays out again in April. July will pay out again in October. February's payments are May, August, and then again in November, so one more payment there. And then September, that just paid, starts in March, June, September, and then we'll pay out one more time in December. Now, options. We had a little better options in September than we've had the last couple of months. $127.88 total received. We had 4 different contracts we were able to get through, all of them from different companies. One contract on the 8th was Johnson & Johnson, $182.50 strike price. We received 20 cents per share, $19.47. That same week, we had one for Kroger hit. We received $75 strike price, received 15 cents after fees, $14.47. Then on the 15th, we had one contract, United Healthcare, $380 strike price, received 60 cents per share after fees, $59.47. And then on the 22nd, we had one contract for LRCX. This is Lam Research. This is out of the information technology sector, a strike price of $145. It's over that now. I believe it ended the week over 145 or very close to that. 35 cents per share after fees, $34.47. You total all that up, $127.88. We do reinvest this right back into the portfolio. That's the reason we run options on this channel. It's a way to juice up the portfolio, put some more money back in on a weekly or monthly basis, depending on how the options hit. And we do covered calls way out of the money. To run covered calls, you must own 100 shares. Then you write the contract for the date you want. I do weekly, so I run them on Mondays for strike price and a execution date on Friday. So you pick the strike price, and then if someone's willing to buy those shares, they'll pick up the contract for whatever amount that it's designated at. Now you can see here all of the options we've been in for the year here. So September was not the best month, but wasn't the worst month either. $127.88 total, which gives us for the year $1,085.41 in options premium that we received so far this year. We still have October, November, and December, the last quarter here to get through. So maybe we'll get to the $1,200, $1,300 mark. That's probably around where we'll be at for options this year. All right, so the total cash flow for September, that's dividends plus the options premium that we received, $1,692.11. And again, this all goes right back into the portfolio. We do have the drip set, so the dividends get reinvested back into the same company. The options get kind of scattered wherever we're seeing value for that week that we receive the options premium. Total dividends to date, as we saw, $9,714.91. Total options to date, $1,085.41. You add these two up, the options plus the dividends received to date, that's $10,080.32. And again, right now we do have the drip set, so this all gets reinvested back in the portfolio. But if we were to turn off the drip and pocket the options, obviously this would go a long way to paying my house note, insurance, groceries, utility bills, whatever, a vacation if we wanted, whatever I wanted to utilize that cash flow for. The portfolio is really starting to generate a significant amount of cash flow. All right, you can see the September year-over-year increase was 16.35%. Last year we received $1,344.39. Obviously this year the $1,564.23. And I wanted to show this slide so you can see I started the portfolio back here in 2021. I started investing back in the early 2000s really, but this particular portfolio I started back in 2021 so that I could show people out there you can do it. As an average person, I am not a financial guru. I did not go to college for this. I have been investing for a long time, but that's just the nature of my personality. I've always been a saver. I've started working when I was very young, and I've always put money. I started putting money in a mason jar. Then I opened a bank account with my mom and put money away that way. But I've always been a saver. And then whenever I graduated high school and went into the military, they kind of set you down with a couple of different people. A lot of them are trying to get your money for things like Red Cross and nonprofit organizations. But I happened to link up with a guy who got me into investing through Fidelity. So it just happened to work out. I've been investing for a long time. But this particular portfolio here that I've been tracking on this channel, I wanted to focus on dividend growth investing. So that's what I set up. And I wanted you to be able to see the over time, as you add new capital and as the dividends get reinvested and as they raise the dividends, you're going to see these stair steps, right? You're going to see these nice increases in dividend income coming back into your pocket. Now, we have had a couple of years, we had downturns right here in the month of July. We had one where it went backwards. And I thought there was one other one, right here in June, a few years back in 2023 there. We had a downturn. But for the most part, you are seeing what you should see, nice steady increases. And both of those were actually reallocations. We sold out of some funds and reallocated funds. Actually, this one was a little bit different. We not only reallocated some funds, but also another company that we owned at the time, LyondellBasell, they paid out a special dividend in 2022 that really juiced up their dividend that year. So that was part of that reason too. But overall, outside of those two instances there, you can see what the portfolio is supposed to do. Again, as you add new capital, I add new capital. As the dividends get reinvested, which we have the drip set, so that happens automatically. And as the companies raise their dividend, you're going to see this dividend growth, these nice stair step ups. Some years are going to be, faster growth than others. All is dependent on how much you add to the portfolio, how high they raise their dividend for that year, and if you're reinvesting, obviously. But overall, you should see these nice continual growth over time. And that is the idea behind dividend growth investing. And eventually, whenever you get to a point, and whenever I get to a point where the portfolio is paying for what I want it to pay for, I know some people are going to wait until they get to financial freedom and their dividend portfolios pay all of their bills. For me, I may actually just wait until I'm looking to buy some property and build a house on that property, probably my retirement place. Once I find that property and have the money to invest in building on that property, I will probably turn off the drip and utilize the portfolio for that while I maybe continue to work until I retire, or I do a soft retirement where I quit my current job and maybe do some investing on the side as a job and buy rental properties or something like that. But I do not plan on waiting until I am 65, 70 years old to turn off the drip and enjoy my portfolio. But for now, I am in the accumulation phase, and I am accumulating rather aggressively. If you notice the amounts I'm putting in, it is a very significant portion of my income, my pay, but we have our bills set up between my wife and I to where her pay basically pays majority of our bills, and I can invest the majority of my income. That is the way that we have set up our bills. We still do a 70-30 split, so 70% pays all the bills, 30% get reinvested. I would recommend a 70-20-10 split to people who don't have 6 months to a year worth of emergency fund. But once you get the emergency fund, I would shut off the savings, 70% to all your bills, 20% to investing, 10% to savings or paying down debt, whichever you need to do. But once you get your debt paid down and your, like I said, emergency fund built up to 6 months to a year, I would turn off the savings portion and go 70-30, which is what we've done. Right? We don't have a lot of debt. I mean, we have jet skis, and our house is our only real debt that we have. Jet skis are paid off. My truck's paid off. So most everything we have is paid off besides the pool and the house. And I'm not in a hurry to pay either one of those off because we have a pretty low interest rate on both of those loans. So anyway, getting back to the update here, as you can see, a 16.35% increase. $1,564.23 compared to the $1,344.39 last year. So the portfolio is doing what it is supposed to do. Really looking forward to closing out the year here. I think we are going to get to over $14,000 a year in dividends that the portfolio should be producing. Looking forward, I hope to get October. I don't think we'll get there this next payout, but I want to get this over $1,000 per month as well. I think we may get there possibly in January, but definitely by next April, we will be over that $1,000 a month mark every single month, with obviously the biggest months being the March, June, September, December payouts there. All right, that is the update for my portfolio for the dividends and options I received for the month. What companies paid you dividends for the month of September? What are you investing in currently? Do you run any options? How is that going for you? Would love to hear from you in the comment section down below. As always, appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to show me some love. Hit that thumbs up, ring the notification bell. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Join us on this journey to financial freedom. Join the vested interest community. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you think of my journey and how things are going for me. But again, I do want to hear how things are going for you as well. Who paid you dividends in the month of September, or even just last week? I know we're only a few days into October now, so most everything should be about September still. But maybe you got some right there at the tail end in October. I know I did. I think VTI paid in the first week or first couple of days there in October. I do personally read and respond to the comments. I'm always interested to read your questions, opinions, or suggestions for future topics. I do a stock pick of the day video series Monday through Thursday. Typically, last couple of weeks, I know I've missed a day or two here and there. It is around deer season. I did go take a couple of days off and go up and do some salmon fishing with some friends of mine. And with deer season coming up, there may be days where I miss a day or two for that as well while I'm out sitting in the woods, but that's going to happen from time to time. But for the most part, I do that series Monday through Thursday. So if a company that you are interested in, you'd like me to cover in that series, drop it in the comment section down below. We're working in through the rotation, and that's another reason to hit all those buttons down below as well. And this is Shane signing off, wishing peace and prosperity to you and yours. And remember, financial security comes to those who take a vested interest. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you in the next one. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing in this presentation should be considered financial advice. I'm only sharing my opinion. Investing for educational and entertainment purposes. Investing involves risk. You can't lose money. You should never invest any amount you're not comfortable losing. Always do your own research. Invest based on your situation, circumstances, and select criteria, or seek the advice of a certified financial advisor.